Hello everybody, welcome to the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida. It's rounds 3 and 4 of the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. I'm John Hindhaugh, Shea Adam joining me today. Now, where exactly are we? On the other side of the Tampa Bay in beautiful St. Pete, and it's the only street course on which the MX-5 Cup will be racing this season. The front straight is the airport runway, and it goes down to an action area at turn 1, tricky right-hander. Very difficult to brake in there with all the paint on the end of the runway. Wind your way through 2 and 3 towards a heavy braking area at 4 as you turn right into 2nd Avenue. Then onto Beach Street through 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. And as you come off Central Avenue through the right-hander at 9, you're onto Bayshore Drive. Down towards turn 10, that's going to be another place that you can make some overtaking manoeuvres. Through 11 and 12, a fast chicane, set yourself up for 13 and 14, bringing you back onto that runway straight. 1.8 miles, 14 corners, plenty of action and excitement in store. Two different race winners from the opening 2 rounds of the season at Daytona, and it's one of those, Jared Thomas, who is on top of the point standings. Tyler Gonzalez was the other winner at Daytona, and he's looking good as well. Mazda MX-5 Cup shootout champion Glenn McGee is on pole position for the first times in his career, and we've got a double winner here in St. Petersburg from the past, Michael Carter. He's looking for his 3rd win on the streets this weekend.
Just kind of keep it clean. This track, really, you want to be in the lead during the race. You know, it's very hard to pass here. Track position is ultra important. I think we're starting 4th today and 6th tomorrow, so we got a little work to do. But I would say, you know, you want to get to the front and stay there. There's not many, you don't get many opportunities, and when you do get them, you have to take them.
We'll take a detailed look at the points coming into this weekend in a moment, but first, let's just remind ourselves what happened at rounds 1 and 2 at Daytona. Caution filled, wet conditions.
Brilliant start to the season again. It was in really tricky conditions. Saw some fantastic car control and a dash for the line that saw Tyler Gonzalez take it. Celine Roland with the damage started from the back today. And there was an urgency from the drivers today and a couple of mistakes. Michael Carter hitting the wall very hard indeed. Then the fiery incident on the back straight. And under safety car, Jared Thomas wins it.
Jared Thomas has amassed 630 points after his 2 good finishes at Daytona. Chris Noon's 30 points further back in 2nd. Then it's Celine Roland and his Hickson rookie teammate, Connor Zilic, in 3rd and 4th. And rounding up the top 6, another rookie, Joey Atanasio and Sam Paley. They're tied on 490 points. Here's the Mazda starting lineup before we go to green. It'll be Glenn McGee who'll see that flag first. Pole winner for round 3 of 2022. He's got the 2021 championship winner, Gresham Wagner, alongside him for Spark Performance. Then it's Tyler Gonzalez in the Copeland Motorsports 51, and Michael Carter, another former champion, he's in 4th position. Row number 3, Sam Paley from Macumbi Macaleer Racing in the JTR Motorsports number 96 of Jared Thomas. Chris Noons, Bruno Caniero, Justin Piscatel and Celine Roland make up the top 10.
So that's how they line up. And we have got them beautifully together as they come round onto the runway. The Mazda MX-5 safety car pulls to the right-hand side and into the pit lane. We wait for the green flag for round 3 of the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup for 2025. The green flag is in the air. Ooh. And already people breaking out the line, and that's going to get the interest of race control. You're not supposed to break out of your ranks until you get to the start line. Down the inside is the favoured run, but going all the way around the outside, that's a very, very brave manoeuvre there in that multicoloured car. Looking further back, we'll get to the leaders in a second, but did everybody get through? I think they did. A little bit of a scary moment for Moise Oreski further back, and now it's 4 wide going down into turn 4 for the first time. And just again, everybody playing well with each other at the moment. Shea Adam as they go through. Cracking start from the front row. Gonzalez was very quick across the line, and he leads it out from Paul Sittner. McGee in 2nd. So Tyler Gonzalez from Glenn McGee, from Jared Thomas, who's come up from a couple of rows further back. Gresham Wagner about where he started, and Michael Carter Then Sam Paley, Joey Atanasio's had a good start as well and made up some positions in 7th in that number 43 car. That's the black car with the green stripes through turn 10 on Bayshore for the first time and coming out to complete the first lap. There's been some big moves at the front of the field, Adam.
Yeah, there have been. Jared Thomas, namely the first one of those, started 6th up to 2nd already and putting a lot of pressure on Tyler Gonzalez for the race lead. It should surprise no one that Celine Roland was aggressive off the start. He knows these runways very well, being a pilot who comes and frequently lands on them just for a lunch break, as you do. But the start is under review, John.
Yeah.
Have had that confirmed by race control. So they're not only looking at the car that jumped out of line, but perhaps anybody making a lot of positions up early on, capitalizing on the confusion at the head of the grid.
Shea Adam alongside me, John Hindorf, as we are ready for great action this weekend, and it's already starting to boil up nicely at the front of the field. Tyler Gonzalez then from Thomas in 2nd place. Jared Thomas with that yellow roll cage, you can always spot his car. Big dive down the inside, further back down the field. That was the Fastnack, one of the rookies there, the McCumbee McInerney Racing, and he was right with Jensen Altsman, his teammate. Now black number 15 having a look down the inside. I think he got the position done there. And into the wall. This, if that car can't move, will be a full course yellow.
I think that's Dante Tornello, John. He's a local guy to the Tampa area as well.
Yeah, it is Hickson Motorsports, another one of the rookies. Now, can he find reverse gear on that sequential Sadev gearbox? They're still racing at the moment through the S's toward the end of the lap. Gonzalez, Thomas, Wagner, McGee, Carter, Adanasio is the first of the rookies in 6th position. Still under green. Race control trying to let these drivers race as long and as hard as they can, and they'll be watching the situation around the back of the circuit. Lovely dive down the inside by Thomas into turn 1, and he takes the lead from the orange, black and white car of Tyler Gonzalez. So Thomas now for JTR leads it. That was a classic manoeuvre. It's so difficult to get your braking point right there because there's a change in surface at the end of the runway where the paint is, but it is Thomas that leads in that silver car. Local yellows and debris flags there, and we have got a rescue vehicle ready to go to try and pull Tornello out of the tyre wall, but the leaders here are still racing.
Yes, they are, and I did get a report, John, that Tornello actually hit another car and then hit the wall. So there was a bit more complexity to that incident than we initially saw. Jared Thomas, though, with the lead of the race after only 2 laps. We still have Tyler Gonzalez hanging on in 2nd, and then Gresham Wagner patiently waiting in 3rd. Now, why is it important to pay attention to who's leading the race? 10 points to the most laps led, in addition to 10 laps for the fastest lap of the race. So far, early days, that's Gresham Wagner getting the 10 points for the fastest lap. But right now, Jared Thomas, points leader coming into this race, is trying to stretch it out a little bit.
Michael Carter going side by side with Glenn McGee and doesn't quite get it done. And in fact, actually didn't do himself any favours there. He came under pressure from behind. Celine Roland right in there in the 87 car. That's the kind of light green and white car. That's Celine Roland's car, looking as we saw it in the first race at Daytona. But we've been used to seeing him in the Autism Speaks colours last season, but once again he is highlighting and drawing attention, Adam, to another very worthy charity.
Very much so. The Austin Hatcher Foundation is represented on his car for this season. And it's a good spot, John. He did have serious damage in the first race at Daytona, resulting in him using a backup car, in essence, the car that he'd run in the year before, but with the different livery running on it. Not puzzle pieces, but just a simple livery. Now he's back in his normal car. It was a fairly straightforward repair needed for that machine for Hickson Motorsport. But another car that suffered massive damage at Daytona was Michael Carter in the 08, the champion from 2 years ago. Everything from the windshield forward is new on that car. Carter Racing Enterprises, which is basically Michael and his dad, as well as some other family friends, they did get the car out and test it last week before coming here, but he's been quick so far this weekend. Michael Carter, a 2-time winner on the streets of St. Pete, looking to try and make it 3.
And that was as a result of an accident post the checkered flag across the tri-oval at Daytona. And when she says everything in front of the windscreen, she means absolutely everything, including a whole brand new engine unit. Probably one of the easier things to do, because that is nothing you can do with that engine. It is sealed to keep it a level playing field. The rest of the cars with more than 250 racing parts. Really great work by the track marshals and the calling workers to get the Tonello Hickson Motorsport car pulled out of the way and behind the wall, so we stay green. So it's the silver car with the yellow roll hoop that leads. Behind that, multicoloured in the Copeland style, but with the predominant colour being bright orange. That's the second place Tyler Gonzalez. As they come onto the runway straight, the number 5 is the third place car, and that is the black, substantially black car, but with the orange and green flashes right across the bonnet, the hood. Then there's a little gap back to Celine Roland, and he's just breaking away from McGee. Then it's the black with the bright green stripes on, and that's Joey Attanasio. Behind him, it's Cagnero. Then Sam Paley, Chris Nunes, and Michael Carter, Adam, who we expected to be at the sharp end of the field, is now behind that soul red crystal car of Chris Nunes. Carter in the 08 is down to 10th position.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm really surprised that Chris Nunes is so far down too. Last year at St. Pete was the site of his first ever podium in this series. He did go on to get a win later on as the championship went along. But for Chris Nunes and Michael Carter to be running down at 9th and 10th, I would have lost a lot of money on that if you told me that earlier in the day.
We're still plenty of racing to go, with still plenty of racing to go. 32.5 minutes to go. It is the third round of the 2022 season of the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Championship, a championship that will see our competitors racing again here tomorrow, and then for the rest of the season, mostly with IMSA, finishing up at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for Motul Petit Le Mans. But in the middle, they are going to go and do a bit of NASCAR support racing at Road America, and these cars are brilliant at Road America. Off and in the dust is the Hickson number 65.
Cornet.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a car that was just on the outskirts of the top 20, and now I'm not sure that one is going to be moved easier. So Bryce Cornet, the man from Norman, Oklahoma. At the moment we're still green with just over 31 minutes still to go, and still with Jared Thomas passing the scene of the earlier accident. Tornello's car behind him now, and behind the wall, well out of harm's way, sweeping onto Bayshore Drive and down towards turn 10, where the wall seems to come to meet you on the right hand side when you make that left hand turn. It's where they are now. Top 3 about to be joined by Celine Roland for Hickson Motorsport. Still green, and now full course yellow.
Yep, yellow.
Yellows are out just as they come to the scene of the problem for Bryce Cornet. And this is going to make things very interesting indeed. Celine Roland then will close right up. So will Glenn McGee, so will Cagnero and Attanasio. Sam Paley in that dark blue car, the number 28. Cleanup has almost been completed, and in fact, as we saw, Bryce has gone into the pit lane, so we should be going back to green flag racing fairly shortly.
There we go.
Flag is in the air, and we are back to racing in round 3 of the 2022 Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup here on the streets and the airport runway of St. Petersburg. The first of 2 races here this weekend. Celine Roland goes to the right, then to the left. Huge dive down the inside by Gresham Wagner, but he can't get the car stopped, and he'll give the place back. It was second place he was trying for. He had it for maybe 15-20 yards, but that was it, as Tyler Gonzalez does the old over and under. And now everybody's spreading out. 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4 wide, going down into turn 4. And it's Gresham Wagner who's under pressure there, just going wide. Glenn McGee getting pushed out in the white car with the multicoloured flashes and the iRacing logo on the hood. So he's lost a couple of spots there as well. Remember, he started on pole position some 20 minutes ago after a great qualifying session for the relatively local driver. Thomas and Gonzalez are pulling away from 3rd place. Gresham Wagner, and here comes Celine Roland, just looks to the left. Now got Bruno Caniero right behind him. Sam Paley in the distinctive blue car right in there as well. 72 making a move further down. Connor Zilic.
Wow.
What a drive from Connor. Connor managed to get up the inside at turn 10 there. That's moved him up a position. I think that was Aaron Johnson that he went past for 11th position, Shea.
It was, and that's this year's scholarship winner making a move on last year's scholarship winner, Connor Zilic, who had a bit of a scary moment in practice, but managed to pull it all back together and get the car in one piece to start the race. He's looking further up the field. His next target, Michael Carter. It's not going to be easy to get around Michael.
Coming down to half distance on time. We started with 45 minutes on the track, just under 25 to go, so we're probably a lap, maybe 2 away from half distance. Starting to get a little more serious at the front. I believe the leading pair, Jared Thomas and Tyler Gonzalez, have started to work together here. It looked to me as though Tyler Gonzalez has stopped moving around behind Thomas, and he's sitting there. It is a fact of aerodynamics that 2 cars can go quicker than 1, and if they're very close, particularly with these open top Mazda MX-5 Cup cars, they do make quite a big hole in the air, and you can effectively have an aerodynamic push. And these cars, well, drafting is so important. It's a massively important skill for these young drivers to learn.
I believe that Jared Thomas now has the most laps led wrapped up for this race, because even if Tyler Gonzalez gets to the front now and leads the rest of the laps, it still wouldn't be enough time to surpass what Jared Thomas has already accomplished. So that means that Jared Thomas, who came into this race having led the most laps on the season, will continue that streak. And speaking of streaks, each of the last race weekends, going back to last year at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, Jared Thomas won 1 of the races. Is he going to keep that streak alive today?
Jared Thomas out on his own. Now you might think that's great.
Nope.
But that means that Gresham Wagner and Celine Roland have got a chance to drag back up to him side by side behind further down the field, as a big battle for some of the minor places. That's Wojciechowski's right in amongst that.
And Moisey has the expertise, John, of already having run in a race today around the streets of St. Pete in a GT4 car. His first time in that car, and he got a podium. So Wojciechowski running on a high. New livery on that car for this year with the Bull, but it is still the same McCumber McLaren team behind him.
Yeah, I think he was having a battle with Woody Hyman, wasn't he? JTR car, and ahead of them is the number 88, and that is Sean Varvig. Yeah. The man from Illinois in the JTR. You'll notice that we're mentioning the same names of teams over and over again. There are some real super teams here running multiple cars. JTR, Hickson, McCumbee, McAleer Racing, full course yellow. Full course yellow. Now I can only presume this is for Tyler Gonzalez, who has not got his car back to the pit lane. Yellow flags are out around the circuit, double yellows with just on 18 minutes to go. It's our second full course yellow, and indeed my fears have been confirmed that Gonzalez, with, I can't see any damage on his car. I think also from his demeanour behind the wheel, Shea, and the frustration he was showing, I think that's some kind of mechanical or engineering issue on that car. It's so unusual if that's the case. These cars are normally bulletproof, but I don't think he's got drive on that car, so there's either no engine or no drive.
Yeah, the radio message that I got was it's a transmission issue for Gonzalez. That's what he radioed in. So unfortunately, that day is over for him, and he's going to drop way down the championship hunt because there are still, 26 cars running?
So another good jump from the front. This time the car in front did get the advantage, Jared Thomas, and they immediately, the battle has resumed for second on down. I know Sam Pearley's right in there as well with the blue car. Here comes, big defensive move by Gresham Wagner. He's in the middle of the track going towards turn 4, the right-hander into the chicane area. Normally you'd say it's follow my leader through there, but this is Idemitsu Mazda MX-5, so they'll find room to go side by side pretty much anywhere. Defying the laws of physics, it seems to me at times. Position made up there, I think, by Chris Nunes, who was pushing his way through. No, he's still behind Pearley. So Thomas, Wagner, Roland, Cañero, the best of the rookies in the number 21 car, just sitting right in behind Celine Roland in that red, white and black car. 72, Connor Zilic now up inside the top 10, and he's just gone by Glenn McGee, I think. So that's a position for him. He's third in the running as far as the rookies are concerned. It's Cañero from Adanasio, 4th and 6th overall, and then I think 8th overall now as they go across the line. I'll confirm that. Connor Zilic is the third of the rookies. Under 15 minutes to go, Shea. We're into the last third of the race.
Jared Thomas making a break for it yet again, stretching out a lead, trying to get away from Gresham Wagner, but more importantly, get away from Celine Roland, the guy who won here last year in one of the 2 races. Michael Carter a bit further back is the other race winner, not looking like he's going to be contending for the win here today, possibly tomorrow, but Celine Roland is somebody who, if he gets a sniff of a win, he's going to go for it, and Gresham Wagner knows it. That's why he was being so aggressive through this complex of the track the last time around, but no attack being mounted as of yet. Connor Zilic, though, with that pass on Glenn McGee, what an impressive move from this young man who does make aggressive statements like that to let everyone else know he's here, and he's here to get to the front.
And he's not just playing in the rookie ranks either. We've seen him right at the very front end of the field. We saw him in his first races in the big show at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta at the last event of last year, and he proved, I think, there that he has worked his apprenticeship and he's ready to go and play in the big leagues, and that's what he's doing. I had him marked out as a championship contender for the overall this year, and certainly for the rookies as well, and he's living up to that. Strangely, I haven't completely cursed him, so that's normally what happens when I mention anybody's name. Sam Pearley pulls out a line in the dark blue car going down the runway straight towards turn 1, but again Thomas just a 10th or so quicker and pulls out to almost a full second. Michael Carter in defensive mode as he's sitting in 10th with Aaron Johnson, Justin Piscatel there as well. Then it's Riley Altsman, Jodin, Lee, Warwick, Moishe Aretsky, Willie Hyman and Starb for the top 20. Side by side again, and again it's the Riley car, that bright yellow car, you can't miss that one, and again it's the battle between him and Altsman, 13th and 14th position they're battling for. The 31 of Jameson Riley holding that position. Who's that in behind them at the moment? That is Jodin, isn't it? Yes, with that light blue coloured car. Scraps as if it was the last lap of the championship all the way through the field. This is typical Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup racing. In fact, in some ways, I'd say, Shea, that we're seeing perhaps a little less aggression, believe it or not. And people watching this, if you're watching it for the first time, you might think I've absolutely lost my mind here, but there's no room for error here, and everybody wants to get to the next race tomorrow here, so there will be, I think, being slightly more conservative than usual. Thomas leads by nearly a full second from Gresham Wagner. Celine Roland has managed to shake off all bar one of his pursuers. Joey Atanasio, who leads the rookie battle here. And then there's a bit of a gap to Connor Zilic, now in 5th, ahead of Cañero. So he's now 2nd of the rookies, then Cañero in 6th. Chris Nunes, in fact, has just gone by Cañero. So they're still having the scrap. No, that's... Yes, that is true, yeah.
And Paley's all over him now too, John. Carniero has his hands full.
Paley's gone through. That was a lovely manoeuvre as he was on the far side of the circuit. Got that done between 7 and 8. So down at the end of Beach Street before he turned onto Central Avenue and then turned right again onto Bayshore Drive. These cars are very nimble. They'll communicate to you exactly what's going on. Big red glow on the brake disc at the front of Sam Paley's blue number 28 Mazda as he goes past as well, and that's another position lost from Cañero. His performance dropping off in the last 6 or 7 minutes of the race, and that might not be the last position he loses, because here round the outside of the final corner comes Piscatel trying to fight his way through. Johnson's in there.
Yeah.
McGee's gone past Cañero as well. So all of a sudden the pace has gone from the Hickson Motorsport number 21 car, and Bruno Cañero, who a lap and a half ago was in the top 5, is now down to 9th position.
Might have used up his tires a little bit too early, John. We did see him very aggressive on the curbing, especially early on. So it could be that now there's nothing that he has left to fight with, as Aaron Johnson looking to make another move, the future star racing on the side of his car this weekend. And then Jameson Riley as well. So a lot of cars waiting for the opportunity to pass Carniero. Was that Zilic just going slowly at the top of our screen?
Oh, don't tell me it's another issue.
No, I think he regained speed, but Chris Nunes and Connor Zilic looked like they were right in lockstep for a second. And Nunes has got around Zilic.
Yeah, you're right. Nunes has got around Zilic. And that puts Chris Nunes up into 5th position. So the two Formidable Racing, what a great name for a racing team. Formidable Racing team. Joey Atanasio leading, the rookie leading the master there. Chris Nunes sitting in behind. There's a lot of respect between all these drivers as we head towards the last couple of laps. Oh, and as I say that, there's contact. That's the first major contact that we've seen, and that's going to be damage to the bright yellow number 31. That's Jameson Riley for Spark Performance, and that was contact with, that was Aaron Johnson, I think, yeah. And now
Bruno Carniero way deep in turn 1, going to visit rooftop Ray, and I'm sure Ray will be a little bit nervous at that one, but he does manage to recover and keep it on the road ahead of Jameson Riley. But yes, that was contact between he and Aaron Johnson. Both of them were able to continue. I'm sure race control will have an edict here shortly from them. And hello, by the way, to Mr. John Doonan, who's up in the race control enjoying this Mazda race.
President of IMSA and great aficionado of all things exciting racing, and particularly all things Mazda, of course. In a former life, he was the man looking after Mazda, and I know how pleased he is to have this championship back on the IMSA docket for most of the season. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Bruno Cañero may have burnt his tyres out, but I think he's burnt his brakes out.
Good call.
I forget every time we come here how hard this circuit is on brakes for any racing cars that's around here. There's a couple of really big stops from high speed. Yes, it's a racing circuit. As I said on the track guide, it's not your usual pointy squirty stoppy goey type of racetrack. There are some high speed sections, and particularly as you're coming down the runway straight towards the first corner, that's a big stop. You've got the same going down First Street before you turn right onto 2nd Avenue at turn 4. It's another bold manoeuvre round the outside by Jameson Riley. Inside the top 10 now, and goes to 9th position in that bright yellow number 31. I did not see the white flag, so it'll be white flag next time by. Thank you, Shay.
Yep.
50 seconds on the clock, 50 seconds on the clock. So once the clock goes down, then you'll see the white flag come out. So we're going to give you a little bit more than the advertised 45 minutes of racing here. Is that going to be enough for Jameson Riley to get up the road and maybe catch Glenn McGee? I don't think so. Thomas leads by 1.5 seconds. Then there's a couple of seconds back from Wagner in second to Roland in third. Another dive down the inside by Chris Neames. This time he was defending at turn number 10. He's very, very late on the brakes there, and Sam Paley and Connor Zilic are right with him. That's the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th. There is the white flag at round 2. Time will expire in 5 seconds, so we are now on the final lap, and Jared Thomas with a 1.7 second lead. This has been a fabulous run from Jared. This is not MX-5 racing as we know it. 1.7 seconds was pretty much the gap between first and second for every single race last year. I mean, cumulatively, if you added them all together.
Yeah, I think our total, John, was 6.6 by the end of the season after 14 races. So all of the Mazda statisticians are going to be very upset with Jared Thomas for blowing out the stats this much, if indeed it stays that way. Gresham Wagner, though, is still charging, and he gained a 10th back on the leader through the first sector alone.
Change at the bottom of the top 10. Bruno Caniero has got by Jemison Riley, and that is a battle for position and the third step on the box for the rookies in this race. So the red, white and black car ahead of the yellow and black car. They're going on to Bayshore for the final time, and that's for third position in the rookie race. First position in the overall is Jared Thomas. He's got just the final 2 right-handed corners. Sun will be in his eyes. He won't mind that at all. He can see the checkered flag being ready, and the VP Racing Fuel checkered flag is waved. Right on the line, the lights flashing, and Jared Thomas for JTR wins round 3, the first of 2 challenges around the streets of St. Pete's this weekend for the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 2022 season. Gresham Wagner takes good points in second place for his championship charge. Celine Roland in third.
Impressive drive from Jared Thomas. He wins round 3. It's his second race victory of the season. Took the lead on lap 2 and never relinquished it. Let's hear from today's podium winners.
You know, people come in, they're talking about points, and I'm like, it's too early to talk about points. You just have to go for podiums and race wins. So it feels great. You know, the points are an afterthought, but that was a good win. That was awesome.
Really good after a few restarts there and not knowing what was going to happen. I definitely was content, you know, to hold on to my third about halfway through there when the yellow came out. And on the restart, I benefited from Tyler having his issue and slipping out a second. That gave me a little bit of room to create a gap behind and try to run up to Jared a bit. And at some point, just ran out of brakes, ran out of car, and thankfully I had some space that I built up behind to just settle into second and, you know, take a podium, which you can't really ever complain about that.
Stayed patient and made moves when they came to me. You know, I don't think I really forced anything, and you know, I was happy to make some good passes, and some misfortune of others fell into my lap. So really happy to come out with the podium, and especially after starting 10th in a track that you really don't pass. And you know, the car stayed under me. The brakes started to fade a little bit, but the Hickson Motorsports Austin Hatcher MX-5 Cup car was on rails. You know, thanks to my whole team, my coach Andrew Carbonell for dialing the car in, and I'm excited for tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow we can go 2 steps up on the podium.
More action to come from round 4 in a moment, but first, let's hear from the Hickson Motorsport teammates Celine Roland and Connor Zilic and find out what they think of racing on the streets of St. Pete's.
Hey everyone, Connor Zilic here. I'm the rookie around town here in the Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich, and I'm here with Celine. Well, Celine, you've obviously been doing this for a long time. What should I be looking for? What advice should I be taking into this first race at St. Pete?
Let's see. St. Pete, step 1, stay off the walls. You failed that one, but it's okay.
Yeah,
we're gonna figure it out. You know,
we move on. We don't look back.
Just don't hit the wall anymore.
Yeah.
And make passes. You're gonna be making a few passes.
Yeah.
Keep the car cool. Keep the tires under you. Keep the brakes under you.
What do you think about the brakes, like especially? I know, like in a 30-minute practice session, we've had trouble. So, in the race, do you think there's going to be a lot of strategy going into that?
Yeah, just get fresh air. There's not much fresh air in this track. There's a lot of hot air compressed in these walls.
Yeah.
Just try to get some fresh air. Pull out a little bit. You know, you're a young guy, so you got to learn that. But
Yeah, it'll take time, obviously, but
Yeah.
you know, I think going into this race, I need to keep calm. If I go in too aggressive, then it might not end well, and I gotta be able to finish the race to finish well, right?
Yeah.
So,
Good luck out there.
yeah, you know, you too. Hopefully we can finish at the front.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, and hopefully Celine's advice helps you out in the next round, Connor. Let's take a look at the starting grid for race 2 of the weekend. Glenn McGee is on pole again for JTR with Copeland Motorsports, Tyler Gonzalez alongside him in the 51. Row 2, Spark Performance, Gresham Wagner and Sam Paley from Macumbi McAleer Racing. Jared Thomas is in 5th with Michael Carter alongside him. Then it is Celine Roland, Justin Piscatel, Bruno Cagnero and Aaron Johnson. Another Spark Performance driver rounds off the top 10.
And we're racing very, very close indeed down to the first corner. Sam Paley pulls out in the blue car and tries to go all the way around the outside. He's got the second position in a roll. A roll at the start of the race. This could well bring out a red flag, not just a yellow when there's a car upside down. That was a huge incident.
Hyman.
It is Hyman from down in the field. Woody in his GTR Motorsport number 82. Everyone else has gone through already. We've got the IMSA AMR safety team there.
Oh, great work.
Very good work for the guys to get there so quickly. And they're talking to Woody in that upturned Mazda. Full course yellow asked for immediately from race control, as you might imagine. Well, let's see if we can try and unravel what happened there. We came down to the green flag. Woody was about mid-pack. It was a pretty good side-by-side start. There was 1 or 2 people out of line further back, including Jameson Riley. That might get him a penalty later. He checks up, and I think it all happens in front of him. Yes, it did. Now, who else was involved there, Shea? I saw Jameson having to pull right up in the. It's easy to spot the bright yellow number 31, but I still didn't see what started the Woody. He was right down the inside on the inside curb and hit it with his right wheels, also right in there. The number 65, that was the Hickson Motorsport car that had the problem yesterday. The good news is, although the car's got some scratches and dents, it is the driver that we are always concerned about, and Woody Hyman is fine. Tyler Gonzalez for Copeland then in the 51. That's the orange, white and black, the Copeland car. It's a very distinctive slash cut livery on that car. Glenn McGee is the multicoloured JTR Motorsport number 23 in second. Sam Paley's the dark blue Macumbi car in third position, the number 28. Then another orange and green car, that's Spark Performance and Gresham Wagner. I think we're coming back to green. This is extraordinary work. And yeah, Tanny is waving the green flag with some gusto as they come across the line. And immediately Glenn McGee goes to the outside wall, trying to get round the outside into turn 1. The right-hander, he's on the left-hand side, the leader. Here comes Jared Thomas in the silver car with the yellow roll hoop. He's trying to make his way back to the front. He was our winner yesterday. He's already up into 4th place. Might even get 3rd here. Thinks better of it in turn 3. Heading down First Street towards the right-hander that'll take them onto 2nd Avenue and then onto Beach Street, Central Avenue and then Bayshore Drive. That's how it snakes around in this part of the track. Normally it would be follow my leader around this part of the circuit, but the MX-5 drivers, well, they don't know what that means. They'll go side by side anywhere in the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup.
We've got some penalties coming in, John, from the original start. Pulling out of line too early. Bryce Cornet, that one is basically just being said because he's still in the pit lane. Aiden Fosnacht in car number 15. And then also we've got the 31 machine, that's Jameson Riley, all being pinned for the improper start.
On the wall, the black with bright green stripes at turn 10. That was a brush of the wall at the very, very least. Let's see if that slows down that particular car. That is the... I think that was that Varwig in that car? Or was that Atanasio? It was Atanasio, yes. The timing screen's just changed. So he's lost a couple of positions there. There's a contact at turn 1, and around goes Glenn McGee. And that was Jared Thomas in JTR. That is JTR on JTR there, blue on blue, and he's facing the wrong direction. and falls down. Now, has he kept the engine running? That might be a penalty for Thomas. Contact in turn one, right on the ragged edge of adhesion. Sam Paley trying to go around the outside in the blue McCumbee Racing car. Gonzalez leads by a full second from Wagner in second, 51 from 5. Then Celine Roland in the lighter coloured 87 Hickson car in third. Then Jared Thomas, and like a swarm of angry hornets behind him, it's Paley, Carter, Nunes, Piscatel, Varwig, Fastnacht for your top 10, and they are all one behind the other as they head to turn 10 again.
Since Stephen and Chad are listening to us, guys, get on the radio with Sam Paley. Tell him do not pass Jared Thomas or take any risks, because it looks like Thomas will be getting a drive-through penalty for that one. Haven't heard anything from race control as of yet, but that was definitely Jared Thomas's fault. Going down into turn one, dove down the inside of pole sitter Glenn McGee, and Glenn is going to be ruining his luck, thinking, what do I have to do to lead a lap around here?
Peeling off into the pits was Fastnacht, I think there. Yes, it is.
Yep.
Fastnacht. So that's his out-of-line penalty. This is a drive-through. He's going to come in at the back of the field, but not off the back of the field. Through the leaders go again. Also, yeah, that's Fastnacht coming through in the darker coloured car. So he's going to lose the back of the field. Actually, now they've all gone through. I thought he might have just been able to jump back on to Glenn McGee, who is a little bit off the back. Maybe those two can drag themselves back to the pack, and another safety car, of course, they'd be right back in it. So let's just remind you of what's going on. Fastest lap, and this is important. Gresham Wagner, 1:24.9, has the Mazda fast lap. That's 10 points to his championship charge. But it's Tyler Gonzalez who's now just 0.3 of a second ahead. That last lap and that fast lap from Wagner. Oh, on the wall again at turn 10. Now
that was a big hit for Sean Varwig.
And it's cost him a position already as he drops back down through the field. I think that was Atanasio, and also right in there as well is the Thomas Stars and Stripes 44 car. You cannot take those kind of liberties at turn 10. It's a quick corner share, and that wasn't just a kiss, that was a thump. And if he's come away without suspension damage and wheel damage, he's done very well.
Yeah, he has. And Varwig, who was a bit unsighted by Aiden Fastnacht, or not Aiden Fastnacht, sorry, that was Joey Atanasio making the pass down the inside of him there, opened his hands up a little too much and then found the wall quite hard. There was a big plume of white concrete being kicked up, but then he takes Mickey Thomas and pulls in Thomas's right side mirror as well. So, Mickey, welcome to MX-5 racing. You're not going to be able to see behind you very well.
Side by side, those two cars, as they are into the right-hander at turn 4. Thomas has to give best. The orange and bright green car sitting in behind, that is the number 69. That's the car of another JTR Motorsport car, Anthony McIntosh, the man from Milwaukee. There's a few dinged up cars already. We said yesterday we thought they were being a little bit conservative. Big sideways moment at 10 again for the 88 of Varwig, and this time he keeps it off the wall, but he had to pinch that corner on the exit, and that's cost him his position. And he's got a BF Goodrich tyre that's smoking now on that side, the right rear. Not my surprised face here in the booth, because that was the side that took the big hit, the sideways hit on the wall, and that slowed him down. And Mickey Thomas has gone through to 11th. Piscatel's now up to 10th. Atanasio down to 9th, because Connor Zilic has just made up a position in 8th, and it's Chris Nunes in 7th. Then we've got Carter Racing Enterprises, Michael Carter 08 in 6th. A little bit further ahead, there's a pass for position for the lead, was it? No, that was for 3rd, 2nd and 3rd. Gonzalez still out front, ahead of Wagner and Celine Roland.
No, Glenn McGee.
No,
Glenn McGee, Gresham Wagner, and then it's Tyler Gonzalez.
Yes, Gonzalez dropping back. That's back down to 3rd place. So the leader at the completion of the lap share is now down to 3rd. So it is Wagner who's pulled his way through. There's something spooky going on here. I wonder if somebody's lost a timing transponder.
No, Glenn's almost a lap down. That's what the problem is.
Of course
Remember,
it is.
he was taken out by Thomas.
Thank you, Shea. With all the excitement going on behind, I forgot all about that. So the 23 car with the iRacing logo on the bonnet is about to go a lap down, and he pulls out to the right-hand side down the runway straight to allow the leaders to go through. Blue flag waving.
Excellent.
Faster cars coming past. Celine Roland trying to get on board with the leaders. Glenn, you confused me there. Having started on pole position, I expect to see him at the front, of course, but he had to pull up short, didn't he, at turn 1 after that incident. So 5, Wagner leads. Gonzalez 51 in second. Celine Roland in third. Jared Thomas just a little bit further back, and he's now got to deal with the lapped car of Glenn McGee.
That he put a lap down, ironically enough.
Yeah. Yes, good point.
Wagner
Spun him
right
round,
now
yeah.
Gresham Wagner is wishing that he had a radio to Tyler Gonzalez to say, hey, don't battle with me. We're bringing Celine Roland back into this. And Celine, who is a native to this part of the world, he comes from Orlando, but he frequently flies into St. Pete to go eat at the restaurant and then flies home because he's a private pilot and he needs practice. He is loving this battle in front of him, drawing him straight back in. Fastest lap of the race so far with Celine Roland. Last time around, he's coming.
1:24.6 for Celine. So at the moment, he is the recipient of 10 points. And points, well, all good for your championship charge, as in any season-long competition. Bit of bragging rights, maybe some silverware as well, but it's not just that here in Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 share, because there's a huge prize fund in real folding type dollars at the end of the season.
Yeah, you get cash in this championship, depending on where you finish, all the way down to 10th place does it pay. But for the champion, it's 250 grand cash. You can do whatever you want with it. Second place is 80. Rookie of the Year is 80. There's a scholarship for bringing drivers into this championship every year. It's $100,000. So there's a lot of money that Mazda invests in grassroots motorsports to try and move your way up. But we have destination, as this championship is now, because drivers strive to get here and then they stay when you can win real prizes. We do have that drive-through. Jared Thomas has been pinged for incident responsibility. So that's going to take the 96 out of the running for today's win.
That is 4th place car, the silver car with the yellow roll hoop. Sam Paley just gone through on Michael Carter. That was the battle for 6th position. Sam in the blue car, Michael Carter in the red top, white middle and black bottom. So it seems that Carter's issues with pace from yesterday are continuing. That car completely rebuilt after hard contact with the wall at the last couple of races, the last race weekend on the high banks of Daytona. It was after the checkered flag, actually, but pretty much everything, I think, Shea, you said in front of the windscreen pillars had to be replaced on that car.
Yeah, it was Roland who had the contact after the checkered flag. Michael Carter was during the race, and he went up hard into the outside wall. As Dante Tornello's off again, and Aiden Fosnot not having a good race today. They are off in turn 10. But yes, Michael Carter, completely new car from the windshield forward. He and his dad did manage to test things out earlier in the week. They were okay with it. They brought the car to the race, but it doesn't have the pace that we are used to seeing from the 2 years ago champion.
Well, here's Glenn McGee and Jemison Riley and Bruno Caniero's chance. But I think this is going to bring out a full course yellow for this incident at turn 10. Right, get back to the edge of your seats, everybody. 15.5 minutes to go. That wasn't a bad guess, was it? I was about 30 seconds out to where the green flag has been re-shown at the start-finish line, and immediately Celine Roland pulls to the left-hand side. Down the inside, though, Tyler Gonzalez. Have a look, the leader's gone wide. Wagner goes wide at turn 1. He's lost the lead. He may lose second as well. No, he's off the track there, right across the red and white curbs, and he has lost second. Celine Roland goes through into second. Third is going to be Sam Paley. Paley up to third in the blue car. He's defending from Carter down the inside to turn 4. The 08 car's coming through into third. Gonzalez slips from the lead to 4th position, from second to 4th position. Gresham Wagner went from the lead, and Paley's got damage, and so has Carter.
Carter into the tires
at turn 6. So this is the time to go. If you've got anything fast left in the draw, take it out and throw it at the track. So let's just summarise what happened. Gresham Wagner was leading, dropped down as far as 4th or 5th. He's back up to 3rd now, and it's Sam Paley who's dropped down to 8th in the bright blue number 28. And straight on for Tyler Gonzalez. That's the leader. Leader has gone straight on at turn 10, and he was half a second ahead of everybody. I don't think he was under pressure there. I may be wrong, but I don't think Roland was that close to him. So Celine Roland, what a restart lap. What an incident and action-packed restart lap. Gresham Wagner back up to 2nd, but Celine Roland, who started at that lap at the green flag in 3rd, comes out on top by 1.1 seconds.
Connor Zilic up to 3rd, Chris Noons 4th, Joey Atanasio in 5th, and our championship leader is back up to 15th already. I think he got a few more. No pressure for Gonzalez.
It was either brain fade or brake fade, take your choice, but that is a victory, an opportunity for victory thrown away at turn 10 by Tyler Gonzalez. And Copeland Motorsport, he's dropped 11 seconds away from the back of the pack. There's some damaged and dinged up cars out there at the moment. Just looking to see where Jared Thomas is. He's up to 13. Another wing mirror goes flying, door mirror rather goes flying in the mid-pack. Roland by a second now.
That was Sean Barwig again, John, as Connor Zilic is now up to 2nd with a great move in turn 10 on Gresham Wagner. But I'm pretty sure Barwig's car has been in the wall on both sides for sure. Maybe not the front and the back yet, as Chris Noons goes off-roading around the back side of the track. Gives Gresham Wagner an opportunity. No, Gresham's going to lose another position. Joey Atanasio through into 4th.
He's only 2nd in the rookies though, because Connor Zilic in 2nd position in the number 72 is the best of the rookies. Roland leads by 1.5 seconds now. All that fighting behind has allowed the very light coloured whitened, and another long run into turn number 1. Are we having brake problems here? But that was 5 again. That was the number 5 again of Gresham Wagner and Spark Performance, and somehow he picked his way through the cars that were around him. Went long in turn 1, has dropped another couple of positions. Sam Paley and Michael Carter went through. So Wagner, having been disputing the lead not so very long ago, is down to 7th position. At the front, Roland leads for Hickson from his Hickson rookie teammate. Connor Zilic in 2nd. He's got about 3/10 on Chris Noons in 3rd for Formidable. He's got his teammate behind him, Atanasio, and there's been more trouble down the back. Was that the number 88 again involved in that one? That was Varwig again, Sean Varwig in JTR's number 88 with the 4-way flashes going now.
And terrible news coming for Joey Atanasio. Drive-through penalty to serve. We think it was for contact with John Joe Duane, but still waiting on confirmation of that, as there was contact further back in the field. That's Alex Pachura getting into the side of Bruno Carniero. Bruno wasting no time with a little bit of international sign language there out the side of his car. So that's 2 race weekends now where he's participated, showing a little bit of color and immaturity, I think it's fair to say. But the leader is still Celine Roland, ahead of Connor Zilic, Chris Noons. And remember, Atanasio will be peeling out, so that puts Sam Paley up into 4th.
And that's big news for the rookie battle. Atanasio 2nd in the rookie race here. Debris on the circuit between 2 and 3. The yellow and red flags are often thought of as just fluid flags, but it actually means there's something on the track that shouldn't be there. It's a rather more colourful way of describing it from my corner worker friends, but I'll refrain from using that now. Quite clearly, that hand signals there saying we weren't battling for the lead, or you're number 1 with me. I can't really decide which one that was that we saw earlier on. Big slide by the red, white and blue number 44 of Mickey Thomas as he went on to Bayshore Drive that time around, and the light blue with yellow roll hoop car has gone through. That's Justin Piscatel with the bright yellow wheels, and he's got Jared Thomas coming through as well. That's another car with the yellow roll hoop. So Thomas now knocking on the door of the top 10. You know, he's in the top 10 at 10 with a bullet, you might say, at the moment. He's coming forward, restarted in 17th position after a drive-through, remember, was battling for the lead. Before that, was in that leading group. 9.5 minutes to go. Right, take a breath. Let's calm ourselves down just a little bit. Celine Roland, cool as a cucumber at the front of the field for Hickson Motorsport. Still has more than a second lead over Connor Zilic in 2nd. who's got Chris Noons right up his exhaust pipe. Further back down the field, down the inside at turn number 1. Beautiful manoeuvre for the number 13 as the Kumbi Makalia Racing's Jensen Altsman goes through. Mazda badge lying forlornly at turn number 5 from earlier contact. Another nice little souvenir. Lovely manoeuvre by Jensen Altsman there. That takes him into the top 10. And he spun. So he just gets into the top 10. He spun right at that point, turn 5. Just as you turn left-handed from 2nd Avenue onto Beach Street. But I think he's got the motor running. Should be able to continue from there. Roland at the moment. Sorry, Shay, go ahead.
On behalf of Altsman's parents, I think it's better if you don't mention him again, because it does seem to be curse of the commentator. Speaking of curse of the commentator, sorry, Mickey Thomas. He's come into the pit lane, not sure what for, but let's see if he's able to continue.
Yeah, dropped way down outside the top 20. Don't think that was a race control issue for Mickey, but I'll very quickly, Shay will have a quick check on that on the screens. But I didn't hear anything. Coming down to 8 minutes, still plenty of laps to go through, still plenty of potential action for us to tell you about. Leading rookie is in 2nd place overall. Cracking battle going on for 4th, 5th, 6th and on down from there. Sam Paley in the metallic blue number 28, with a little bit of a gap between himself and Chris Noons, who's got a little bit of a gap between him and Connor Zilic, who's got a second of a gap between himself and Celine Roland, the leader. But those 3 cars, all of a sudden, those 3 cars, Paley, Carter and Wagner, have stopped fighting. And the moment that they do that, they start to gain on the cars ahead. Now, these guys have raced against each other all of last year, and they know that if you're going to be in with a shout, you've got to be there in the last 5 minutes. And none of them pulling out the line now. It's noticeable, Shay. None of them are jockeying for position. What they're trying to do is let Sam Paley lead them onto the back of the battle for 1st, 2nd and 3rd.
Because Sam Paley was Rookie of the Year last year as David Staub runs long in turn 10 but manages to continue on. I think that was him, 39. We've also got Gresham Wagner, last year's champion, in 6th. Michael Carter, 2 years ago's champion, in 5th. So all of those cars, 4th, 5th, and 6th, have won championships of some sort or another within this series. They know how to make the cars work well together. All they need to do is to be calm and work their way back up to Connor Zilic and Chris Noons, and then, hopefully, Celine Roland.
It's fascinating for me talking to the drivers last year in between races when we had them on Midweek Motorsport over on RS1, sister station to IMSA Radio, that they were saying, yeah, you know, what you're trying to do, early part of the race, there's a bit of jockeying for position. You might have 6 or 7 cars at the front of the field. You'll try and work with the guys around, see if you can cut that down to maybe 4 or 5. And then in the last 5 minutes, you want it then to be a race between maybe, if you can, 2 or 3 of you. So you know you've got a podium at that point. Still the fastest lap of the race, 1:24.4 for for Jared Thomas, sitting in behind Justin Piscatel. So that's 10 points for him at the moment. 25.0 last time around for the leader, 24.9 for 2nd. So that lead just going up a bit that lap. But it's come down since the last time we mentioned it. It's down to 3/4 of a second now. So Celine Roland pacing himself, or has he overcooked his BF Goodrich tyres? The Paley, Carter, Wagner 12-wheel train of MX-5. Not quite on the back of Noons, but not far away. Just looking down the timing screen sheet, the rookie division has been decimated here. Connor Zilic leads it, 2nd. We're down in 12th position. Is that right? Yes, it is. It is the number 69, Anthony McIntosh. That would be his best finish in the Rookie Championship.
Yeah, it would be. And we did have that, Aaron Johnson was involved with Jensen Altsman when Altsman went around. It was reviewed, I'm hearing from race control, inconclusive. So there will be no further action on that contact. Our last running car on track, by the way, is down in 21st position. That is Glenn McGee. So still on a comeback drive after, well, starting on the pole position, almost leading a lap. He's now down in 21st, but he's still circulating and still making up positions on the rest of the field. Celine Roland is starting to fall into the clutches of rookie Connor Zilic.
The problem for Glenn McGee with that safety car came out, it didn't help him because he'd already gone a lap down. So, you know, he's probably mixing it with other cars within that group, but he went a lap down, and there's no lucky dog or anything like that here, so he didn't get a wave by. So at the front of the field, 3 3/4 minutes to go. Celine Roland will be able to see right behind him the red, white and black number 72 of Connor Zilic. Meantime, Sam Paley decides it's time to press the go button. He's caught and now passed the number 32 of Chris Nunes. We had great scraps between those two last year. This is only the second season for Sam Paley. He was one of the leading lights in the rookie championship last year. Ran the car in dark grey stroke black, depending on how the light looked. Gone to a very fetching metallic blue, and you know how partial I am to a dark metallic blue car shape. That one really caught my eye when we saw it at Daytona for the first two races of the season. Well, Paley has been able to get up to third. Carter and Wagner have not been able to go with him. So now, can he improve even more and upgrade that third step on the box to something even better? He's about a second away from Connor Zilic, who now is half a second back from the leader. 2.5 to go.
So we should have 2 more laps, as there has been an off. Is that Anthony McIntosh? It is our other still running rookie contender. That is off in between 12 and 13, it looks like. Can he get moving once again? Well, BF Goodrich's are known for their off-roading capability.
Yes, that's true.
That is a lot of grass.
I think he's just waiting for the corner worker to give him the nod that he can come round, because there's a blind corner in the chicane there at 12 and 13. At 11 and 12 rather, and he's in the gap, the short shoot between the exit at 12 and the turn into the right-hander at 13. A lot of these cars starting to move around as the sun is getting a little higher, the shadows are getting a little shorter, getting a bit warmer on the track. Roland has got company. There is a battle for the lead. Then a gap, then 2 cars battling for third, and here comes Chris Nunes, looks to the inside, the left-hand side towards turn 10, thinks better of it. This is an absolute cracker. It's boiling up for another classic Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup finish. Grandstand finishes. Yeah, we have them in spades here all through last season. White flag is in the air. 1.8 miles from now as the leaders go across the line. Celine Roland and Connor Zilic. First overall, first in the rookies. Now, Connor Zilic, is this his opportunity for his first win? Michael Carter just loses 5th to Justin Piscatel as they went down into turn 1. Jared Thomas has continued his rise from 17th back up to 7th as it stands at the moment. Defensive driving at turn 4 by the blue number 28 of Sam Paley. Big sideways slide by Nunes. He's almost lost in Tokyo drift through 5 and still hangs on to the back bumper of the blue car ahead. But that's a real invitation from Justin Piscatel. He saw that sideways moment. He can see a podium finish here. 2 cars ahead of him, but if he can pass them in the last half a lap, there's a podium finish and the battle for the lead through turn 10, right up to the outside wall for Celine Roland as he turns in left-handed. He's got Zilic in behind him. Can't see Zilic's car. He's that close to the back of the leader. Maybe one more opportunity at the final 2 corners. Slips out to the left-hand side, tries the underneath move. Who gets off the final corner? The better of the 2. It's going to be Roland. Celine Roland comes to the line and takes round 4 of the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup for 2022. Just makes it by 0.061 of a second. It'll be Sam Paley on the 3rd step of the podium. Then Nunes, Piscatel, Carter, Thomas, Wagner, Johnson and Dirks for your top 10.
Wow, what a race. Congratulations to Celine Roland and Connor Zilic. A 1-2 for Hickson Motorsports. Clearly Celine's advice to Connor paid off. Now, time to hear from some happy drivers.
Great to be in the top step. I think we talked about this yesterday, and started 7th, finished 1st, got the same amount of positions as yesterday, so really happy to finish 1st here at the end, and super pleased for Hickson Motorsports 1-2.
Yeah, we had a dominant car. We've been working on it all week. I've had some bad luck leading up to this. The race 1, I had a brake failure in turn 4 on the last lap while running 6th. That would have been a really good finish for me, but I redeemed myself today, got up to the second position, and finished right behind my teammate, which is awesome. So super happy for Hickson Motorsports and everyone that supports me.
Yeah, it was a crazy race. There was a lot of contact early on, and I got caught out in some incidents, and unfortunately had some damage on the car that affected our pace a little bit. But I just want to say thanks to McCumbee McAleer Racing for giving me an incredible car, and I feel like we were the fastest car on the track, besides maybe Connor there for a while, and unfortunately just didn't have enough to catch up to them at the end.
Here's the points leaderboard after 4 rounds. Jared Thomas stays on top as we leave St. Pete's. Celine Roland up in the 2nd. Very tight, isn't it? And then Sam Pearley is next up. Connor Zilic, the best of the rookies, he's in amongst some very experienced competitors. Rounding out the top 5, Gresham Wagner. An action-packed weekend here on the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida. Jared Thomas, dominant in the first race of the weekend. He extends his points lead. Race 2, a scary crash right after the green flag, but it ended with a fabulously close battle between teammates Celine Roland and Connor Zilic. Roland coming out on top. The next time that you'll see this exciting racing will be in May with rounds 5 and 6 from the road course of Mid-Ohio. For Shea Adam, I'm John Hindorf. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of the International Motorsports Association. We would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.